Good evening on day 2 of our live coverage from the inaugural United Cup. We're in Perth this evening. That is Federico Coria for Team Argentina, who are trying to reduce the arrears. Team France has been red hot. They have an unassailable lead, leading 3-0 after the opening 3 matches. Caroline Garcia, who has just been out on center stage, was simply too good for Nadia Podoroska, beating her 6-2, 6-love. Yesterday evening, it was Elisa Cornet and Arthur Rinderknecht that got the French team off to the perfect start. This evening, it's the turn of Adrian Mannarino, who takes on Federico Coria of Argentina. My name's Rob Koenig, delighted to have Mark Philippoussis alongside me for this one. We'll catch up with Flip in a moment, but now it's time for the team introductions.
RAC Arena, it's time for our second match of night 2. Would you please welcome our first team representing Argentina. Alongside Captain Gisela Dulco, we welcome Federico Coria. Their opponents tonight, representing France. We welcome Adrian Mannarino.
Well, Adrian Mannarino, he's a different player, and we're going to talk about his string tension a little later as this match gets underway, and you will not believe what I'm going to tell you when it comes to that. Delighted to have Mark Philippoussis alongside me, former career high ranking of number 8 in the world. Twice he was a major finalist. Mark, it's great to have you again.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure to be calling this match with you.
Of course, you're also a former champion, if memory serves, here at the Hopman Cup, where we used to have many events. Always a highlight of the start of the year, wasn't it?
Oh, it was always one of the players' favourites events start off the year, and always love playing the Hopman Cup. Anytime you represent a country is an honour.
For the towel boxes, you want to take the blue, this inside the box there's a blue tape. You take the blue one and you take the green one. Otherwise, everything is going to be the same. The toilets are just inside the door there, so if you need to go to the bathroom, just go to the ones inside the door. Don't go back to the locker room. All right, so up to you now. You can ask either player, anyone you like, to call heads or tails. Okay, this one is tails, yep. Yeah, go for it. Okay, yeah, your call. Receive. I will make a photo this way, yeah, please. So just
that was a slightly flatter toss, Mark, and I think perhaps indicating that we might have a Mannarino win this evening. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out. It's an absolutely stunning evening here in Perth, Western Australia. Temperature a little cooler than what it was yesterday. Had a chance to speak to Grigor a little earlier today, and he was saying how toasty the conditions were out on center stage when he was taking on Steph. But it doesn't get much better than this.
Oh, conditions right now are perfect. And the wind too, it's calmed down. I think these guys are definitely looking forward to tonight's match. Got a nice crowd out as well.
Federico Coria, of course, it's a name so synonymous with the sport. His brother was an absolute standout as far as Argentine tennis was concerned. Roland Garros runner-up in his early years on the clay. He was almost unplayable. Some of the battles that he had with Rafael Nadal were absolutely legendary. And Federico spoke about the fact it was very difficult in his early years to, step out of the shadow of his brother, but he's carved out a decent career for himself. It's not easy to park yourself inside the top 100, and he's done just that. But I think it's fair to say, Mark, that he really is a one-surface player, isn't he?
I think it's very fair to say that. Similar to his brother, I mean, Coria was a hell of a player. He definitely loved playing on clay. And man, was he tough on that surface. The way he moved, the way he hit the ball, incredible hands. And as you said, he very much loves the clay.
Yeah, most of his matches this season have come on that particular surface. 15 tour level wins, 13 of them have come on clay. The other 2 were on hard. In fact, throughout the course of his career, Coria has only had 6 hard court wins at tour level. Adrian Mannarino, well, he's a different story, and he is a tricky customer, currently ranked 46 in the world, the southpaw from France. Actually had a great start to the 2022 season at the Australian Open. The round of 16 he made there. With the slightly quicker conditions, he really enjoyed it. You can understand, given the way he plays, Mark.
Oh, I mean, he's very unique with the way he plays. The fact that he's a lefty as well, takes the ball so early, 0 backswing. Never have to worry this guy overplaying the ball or over swinging. I mean, he's got incredible hands, great feel, and reads the ball well as far as understanding his angles on the court. So he's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, not only did he start well at the Australian Open, but he backed it up nicely in the next few weeks. He was a quarterfinalist in the next 3 weeks of the year, so he won 9 matches before Indian Wells rolled round and teed up his season nicely. But then he really struggled thereafter. He only had 1 match win between Indian Wells and Hertogenbosch before playing well in the American summer. Loves the hard courts, does Mannarino. The clay, not so much. So in that regard, these guys couldn't be more different. Never made quarterfinals at a major as Adrian. Just 1 at Masters 1000 level. It came back in 2017 again on the hard court surface. He does have a title to his credit. Was able to win 1 this year. And Winston-Salem actually plays well on the grass courts as well, does Mannarino. So hard and grass are his thing. Clay, not so much. I think if
30 seconds.
If we were betting men, I guess the cards would be heavily stacked in Mannarino's favor.
Yeah, Mannarino would definitely be the favorite out here tonight. You never know what happens in sports. But he's very comfortable on the hard court, as you mentioned. Had a great start of the season here last year. And I'm sure he's very happy to be back on Australian soil.
Edouard Roger-Vasselin, of course, standout doubles player. He'll be in action a little later as far as the mixed is concerned. Very versatile individual, some good singles credentials as well for Edouard. So, we're good to go. Gisela Dulko, very good player in her own right. Will be captaining Team Argentina. And of course, the feel-good factor will be high given everything that has happened in the last 2 weeks or so. And in fact, Federico Coria is a young man from Rosario in Argentina. And he'll hopefully take inspiration from Rosario's most famous sportsman as he goes in search of his equal best win on a hard court tonight in an attempt to add some respectability to this tie for Team Argentina. They trail 3-love to the French. Some running repairs.
Representing Team France, Adrian Mannarino to serve.
Let's get it on.
Let's serve.
Oh, Mark, I just thought, given that we've had a lot of France-Argentina football references in the last 2 weeks. A big shout out to one of the greatest to ever play the game who's just passed away in Pele. And of course, a sporting family around the world. We'll send our best to everybody in Brazil.
I mean, it's amazing how flat he hits the ball, but again, there is no swing at all, just a little turning of the shoulders and just hits beautiful contact and so flat on both sides. It looks like he's still warming up. Very little energy wasted when he plays.
Yep. You often hear about string tensions that the players string their rackets at. His is one of the lowest I have ever heard of. In fact, you're not going to believe it, but he strings that thing at 10 kilos, 22 pounds. And the guys at Tennis Lab told me he tried 9.5, that was too loose, and he actually said 10 was too tight initially.
Do you actually need a string machine to string 10 kilos, or can that be done by hand?
I mean, we're going to have to ask the boys downstairs.
That's unbelievable.
10 kilos is the tension in the racket of Adrian Mannarino. And just to put that into perspective, the guy on the other side of the net, Federico Coria, he's at 48. So his racket is strung almost twice as tight as what that one is right there.
Wow.
And that's probably more around the norm.
Yeah, I would say that's the average.
Especially these days with the poly strings, they're more receptive to getting spin on the shot if they are strung looser. Back in the day when you were playing, it was natural gut all the way. Pull that thing as tight as possible, stand on it, whatever it takes, right?
That's right. Yeah, I used to string mine at 36 kilos to 38 kilos.
Representing Argentina.
Natural cut, completely different.
Wow.
That's the one he does so well. Takes the ball so early. And you have to look at that racket just back, taking the ball on the rise with that 10 kilo string and just guiding it down the line.
Just so easy.
Same in the back end, right?
Yep.
15-30.
Using your opponent's pace against them, taking time away by stepping in early.
That is so clinical. It's great off-the-ball movement. It's peripheral vision. So many things coming into play there.
Yeah, he does that well. He moves forward beautifully, but I believe Coria made a mistake there. He had a good first serve, and I feel like with that first volley he had, he could have done a lot more by hitting it cross-court. He had the open court, but went back in the middle and put himself under pressure.
Backhand is so easy on the eye.
Team France lead 2-0.
It's just unbelievable, isn't it? Pace that he's able to generate. Such a small swing. I wouldn't predict it. Already swinging even further in favor of Team France and Adrian Mannarino. Remember, Coria's only won 2 hard court matches at tour level this season. 6 his entire career. So it's a surface that's always going to be tricky for him. Of course, stepped in to replace Diego Schwartzman, who pulled out just before the event got underway. Mark, explain the challenges of somebody who grows up on clay. What makes playing on a hard court difficult for them?
I was thinking about that, thinking about his stats on hard courts. I understand that you have a surface that you prefer like clay, and it is different to the rest, a lot slower, complete different kind of tennis. But I mean, still at the end of the day, the net size is the same, it's the same lines. You would imagine you would have to adapt over the years, adapt a little bit to the hard court play, and maybe, you know, play a little closer to the baseline or be a little more aggressive. Something that, you know, after a few years of not winning too much on the hard court, to try and do something to change things up. Yeah, to give yourself that opportunity to have a better season. See, even that point, you probably hit like 8 balls, and I would say 6 out of the 8 were right in the middle of the court. Mannarino not even having to move at all, take more than 2 steps away to hit any of those shots.
Game, Team France.
Practiced in the art of deception.
France lead 3-0.
As Mick Jagger would have said. 3-0, Team France lead. Oh, this is Perth City by day. It's a nice, small, intimate city. The Optus Stadium, Madagarra Bridge over Swan River. Of course, nothing like a nice city sunset looking over that Swan River. That's where we spend most of our time during the day. If we get a chance, head back to the hotel. Of course, the big thing when you're playing on a hard court is the movement. If you grow up on a clay court, so you're used to sliding everywhere, having that little bit of extra time on the ball. Got Mark Philippoussis alongside me. Delighted to have John Fitzgerald courtside, the great man himself. Fitzy, good evening.
Hello, Robbie. Hello, Mark. Great to be with you. And yeah, it is a mild and beautiful night, and it is really a lesson in how diversified some tennis players can be. I mean, this is a real treat to sit here and watch Adrian Mannarino so far. He started off quick out of the blocks, but his game is so different to the man down the other end. It's just enlightening. He's taking the ball so early, hitting it so flat, and Coria so far looks like he's got nothing to hurt him with.
15.
I mean, he's such a different cat, isn't he? We talk about this quite often, and you've talked about the lack of tension in his racket. No swings, very short swings, in fact, to generate power with those loose strings, because that's what they do. And he's a magician. You know, he's like a... Would you call him a poor man's Johnny Mack, Rob?
I mean, he's got such a complete skill set. I can't argue against that.
I love watching him. This is really entertaining at courtside, because he's so different to the majority of players you see these days, and he's a bit of a throwback. Unconventional.
It's something I've always appreciated about the French system and the French Tennis Federation. Even Lady Luck is with them. And Fitzy, that is, they don't get fixated on having the perfect technique or the perfect game. Players who are different, I mean, Fabrice Santoro springs to mind. They are very good at recognizing what's effective and then just leaving it, perhaps fine-tuning those shots that might not be effective. And even if the shot looks strange, Fitzy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, oh, you're dead right. They have flair, don't they, in so many different capacities, the French. They're really an interesting group of players, and they're also different. This guy is as different as any that you would see on the tour, and entertaining. Difficult to play against, by the way. And if Coria is to have any chance here, I think he cannot drop the ball short. He's been inclined so far to play with that safety factor, Rob, in the early games, and he's just getting the ball back, leaving it in the middle of the court near the tee, and then he's cannon fodder if he does that.
Yes.
So good signs there, a little bit more aggressive, and he has to be that way inclined. He's got to go for a bit more than he has so far in the early stages, because you talked about the hard court and the difference compared to clay. It's easy to put the ball away on this court. And that certainly favours the Frenchman.
Yes.
It's nice how he just pushes the ball, like puts the ball around, but then when he wants to put one away, man, he can hit it and generate some pace.
Advantage team France.
Mannarino's deceptively quick. Just to watch a point every now and then. Just focus on his feet and watch how quickly they move. The adjustment steps are excellent. He's got another break point here.
Juice.
Seven top 10 wins throughout the course of his career. Adrian Mannarino beat the likes of Aaron Cilic, Milos when he was top 10, Stan Wawrinka. Most recent top 10 win was Andrei Rublev indoors in Moscow. Calendar 2021.
Advantage Team France.
Game Team France.
Thanks for coming. Let's put on a clinic in the opening 4 games.
4 games to love.
And it's also the disguise. Someone's got to swing that short. You can't get any read on it.
No, he looks like he can go in any direction. Coria's going to have to play out of his comfort zone and be a lot more aggressive, like Fitzy was saying. I mean, he's going to, I understand he loves to play on clay, but he cannot just be hitting the ball heavy and deep. He's going to have to do something to get Mannarino off balance and hurt him.
Love 15. Love 13.
That view from the French camp. Bottom right of your screen is how the tie has unfolded so far. 3 matches played. France has won all of them. Which means they have an unassailable lead. But of course, every match, every game counts towards your overall tally. So France want to win this as best as they possibly can. Of course, the Argentines, they want to lose in the best possible manner by winning sets, matches, games, whatever they can to improve their scoreboard.
Gee, this is someone giving a lesson here at the moment. This is really entertaining, Rob. You know, he pressed a little bit more even on the first 2 points of this game. Probably went over the limit a little bit on his aggression because the ball is skimming the net. The margin for error is very fine, and yet he's in such confident form here that he's making the vast majority of it. Tough to play against.
He is plugged into the mains big time.
Well, he's got a look of nonchalance on his face, doesn't he, up close? He's just taking it in his stride, but this is really high level. I mean, I've got a smile on my face. It's so entertaining just watching how different he is and his talent pool.
Yes.
So for the viewers at home there, you can see that he's got versatility himself, Coria, but that drop shot is much more effective on clay. You'd see him use that a lot more. And his older brother was a master at touch. Germa Coria hit, and made the final. The French, as we talked about, he was a master at it and could control that ball so beautifully. And you can see how on clay, his younger brother, Federico here, would feel much more at home. This is the style he's got to incorporate, though, I think.
Advantage Team Argentina.
Yeah, if there's one part, right, he can take advantage of, it's definitely the Mannarino second serve.
Some good anticipation.
Game Team Argentina.
And finally a meaningful digit alongside his name.
Team
It's
France lead
4-1
4 games to 1.
to Team France.
No me va la bola, No me va la bola. Te digo que esta raqueta no están bien, boludo.
Use of the left hand there, you can see how he's able to drag that ball cross court. If you ever see double-handers sometimes warm up, they'll just put the racket in their left hand and they'll almost hit left-handed forehands. That's working on their backhand feel, actually. A lot of them are really good. I mean, the shot of the year from JJ Wolf. Lefty passing shot down the line. Well, of course, he's a righty. Get it on the backhand side.
Positivo que la vas a pasar.
Time.
Dale, 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 dale. Dale, vamos, vamos, Fede, vamos. Vamos.
Lot 15.
Never made a quarterfinal at a major. His Mannarino has come close. Lost in the round of 16 at the Australian Open this year, 3 times at Wimbledon. He's made the 4th round, but has come unstuck at that point. Maybe this is the year. Maybe he can do what Elise Cornet did early on in the season. Make her first quarterfinal at the AO.
That's a better play, you know, going off that serve down the tee and opening up a little more in the forehand. He's got the strokes. We know he can open up and hit the ball a little harder. He just feels like that's what he needs to do. He's just been playing a little bit safe. We know that Mannarino is not going to miss. He's not going to hurt himself. You're going to have to do something to hurt him. I just love the way he steps in and takes the ball on the rise on both sides.
This guy's a skill merchant, isn't he?
Advantage.
He is a skill merchant of note.
Game, Team France. Team France lead 5 games to 1.
Well, given what we've seen unfold in the opening 6 games, probably an apt time just to have a look at the average topspin rate of both players. Mannarino's forehand and backhand. As you can see, the top line there, those numbers so much lower, Mark. Coria's forehand almost 2,700 RPM, 1.6 for Mannarino. And the backhand, I believe, is one of the flattest on tours. I know Mikhail Kukushkin is very flat, and Hawkeye just reminding me he is the 2nd flattest backhand on tour. And the flattest backhand goes to?
Definitely not Rafa.
He plays for Team GB.
Love 15.
He's also a lefty. And he goes by the name of Cam Norrie.
Norrie.
Yes.
Wow, it's the flattest on the tour.
Yep.
That thing's got underspin on it. It's so flat.
Yeah, Jimmy Connors like, remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
And that forehand right there is the 3rd flattest on tour. So
15 all.
you get a sense of why he strings that racket at 10 kilos, 22 pounds, if you like old money.
You know, you really have to know where your racket face is to hit the ball this flat, because it's skimming the tape. Down here at courtside, you can see the trajectory. It's so low. You've got to be so precise with that. So you have to know where the racket face is angled every time you hit the ball. It's just a subconscious talent. But I like that. You know, the first point here, Coria goes up the line with an aggressive forehand and hits a winner. And then again, that's how he has to play on a hard court, I think, against a player like this. Step up the aggression, take some risks. You're going to miss some balls, but you have to take some risks.
Yeah, it's such a fine line, isn't it, Fitzy, between being aggressive, stepping in, and then all of a sudden, like, thinking to yourself, man, I should have just maybe made him play. But when you got someone that's playing so well as Mannarino and seeing the ball well, and feels like he's got the ball on the string right now.
It's the first real blip on his radar.
Juice.
Well, that one, not the fastest serve, but when you've got an angle like that, especially being a lefty, swinging away, it was 151 kilometers an hour, and not much you can do with that.
He accentuates that angle by standing wide when he serves. I mean, look at that thing where he's making contact.
Oh, great shot. Well, you're talking about that double-handers have that little advantage of having that second hand on the rack, and that's something that helped him, that left hand, just flicking across court and using that left hand nicely on this shot.
You know, you can tell if Coria drops the first return short, maybe he's beaten by a good serve and he can't do anything else, but if he does drop it short, he goes further back behind the baseline, he's chasing his tail. Mannarino then has control of the point, so he's covering less territory with his feet, but he's just dictating, creating angles, Coria doing all the movement.
Advantage, Team France.
Yeah, Fitzy, one of those things where you're saying how beautiful, how flat and early hits the ball. When you hit the ball that flat, you have to hit the ball on the rise, right? You cannot afford to hit it on the way down, or it has to be at the peak on the rise, and he does that so beautifully.
And I think the shorter backswing mark enables you to do that, because, you know, the modern player, and you can look at Coria as one of those, his swing patterns are much longer, much bigger, so he generates a lot of his own power. Whereas Mannarino's, that he gets the advantage of the loose strings, because that flies off the strings, so there's power there, but he uses the power of the opposition, and with small swings you can time the ball then. But I think it's imperative you have loose strings if you play that way with that style, and that's why his game's evolved in the fashion it has, with those 10-kilo restring jobs, Robbie.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? Let's see. And he's got a thick racket as well. He's got the wide string pattern. He's gone with the 16-19 formation. Believe it or not, that helps impart a bit more spin on the ball. Set point. Oh, copy and paste with that slider out wide.
Team France.
The skill merchant, that is Adrian Mannarino, wraps up the opening set 6-1 for Team France. What is it about these lefties? They hit the ball so flat. Mannarino, Norrie, Mack, Jimmy Connors. It's been a fantastic opening set from Mannarino. Simply too good against Federico Coria.
La 15. La 30. love 40.
Perfect start for the second set. Mannarino with an early break.
Second set.
And we've been highlighting what an intelligent player he is. One thing that he does really well is he uses his leftiness to such good effect, and it starts with the serve, Mark.
Look at that angle. That is 4.5 meters outside of the tram line. I mean, let's just even say you decide to leave a second early and you're guessing. You're making contact from there. Don't even bother running back. Yeah. I mean, just, it's incredible, that serve.
Yeah, and Mark is talking about the inside tram line. That's how much distance a returner has to make up. And you know, he's clever. He does that by accentuating his stance further left of the center divider. Watch on the next point, the second point of this game, where he stands to exploit that serve out wide. It's such simple tennis,
15 love.
but yet it is so highly effective.
You know who I'd love to see him return that serve? Medvedev. How far back he is.
So look where he's standing now, folks. Here we go. Much further to the right of your screen, the left of where he's standing, and straight away he's looking for that slider out wide.
Let's.
Yeah, normally you see your opponent kind of creeping out to the side. Most of the time they do go out wide, but on that angle, you still cannot do anything, even if you think, you believe he's going there.
Thirty love.
Just missed. Just missing by a centimeter. It's just amazing, Fitzy, just how relaxed he looks out there. We've spoken about it, and it's beautiful to watch, but my gosh.
Well, I think the matchup here, Mark, is it just suits him down at the ground. I mean, he knows or feels that he's got Federico covered here, because he knows that his opponent is uncomfortable a little bit on this surface, and certainly against this style of play, he's a little bit lost, Federico here. He doesn't quite know how to play, because it's a foreign sort of feeling for him. And he wants more time, like he's used to on a clay court, to handle this sort of game. And then he goes for a bit more there, which I think he has to do.
Yes.
But as you mentioned, it's a fine line then. You come up with a few more errors. It's really a bad matchup, I think, for the Argentinian. And if he turns this match around and wins it, then we'll all look a bit silly.
15.
I think in Mannarino's history, he's never hurt himself, and normally if he's up against someone that can overpower him, things can be tough for him. But when someone isn't pushing him around and he's got plenty of time like he does today, like you said, he can do a lot of things with his ground strokes and his style of play.
You're on the money, Flip. I mean, he can get overpowered. So the big hitters in the sport give him a hard time. But there's not enough power from the other end tonight to worry him on a hard court, so far. I mean, unless something unforeseen happens here and he goes off the boil.
Oh, one of the things he does so well is take the ball early, takes it on the rise. And is on the rise. Percentage. I think it's out around the 60s at the moment for Mannarino. 68%. That's as high as I've ever seen it. I mean, someone like Anisimova on the woman is right up there at 61. So when it's that early and that accurate, it's an absolute nightmare to play against. You need great timing to take the ball consistently on the rise.
Advantage, Team France.
Just to give you an idea of what the norm would be, you know, based on our data set over the last 5 years, the average number of shots on the rise is right around 47%. That's how much of an outlier Mannarino is at the moment.
Yes. Let's for service.
Well, he kept himself in it there with depth. That was an excellent point from Coria. He's going to need to play a lot of those back-to-back here. But the depth kept Mannarino at bay to an extent there. Didn't allow the Frenchman to attack on a mid-court ball.
Juice.
That's the thing, it's tough. He plays such a good point at juice. You know, long rally. Like Fitzy, like you said, keeping the ball deep, playing great point, and then boom, just back to square one with a loose error.
Yeah, no bonus points in this sport. Count the same.
Advantage Team France.
And I think sometimes his timing is upset by the speed of the ball off the surface here. So on the clay, he gets more time than that.
Yep.
And that is one of the big differences for him. Less time to prepare on the hard court.
Strike that one, didn't he? Painted the line beautifully. France lead by a set and 3-love. Not a whole lot of input needed. Perth City views over the Swan River. Elizabeth Quay, the bars and restaurants. So we want to go to Murray Street Mall for some shopping. tower. So many great sights and sounds in and around Perth, and of course the city skyline at night. The weather has just been gorgeous so far. It's pretty toasty yesterday, but those playing this evening couldn't have custom ordered better weather. There hasn't been a cloud in the sky all day. Nonetheless, it's been a tough day at the office for Federico Coria. There's some of South Africa's finest in the house. Timmy Knox with his family.
Time.
So one-way traffic so far. Racing towards the finishing line.
Love it.
Momentum that Mannarino has at the moment. Fantastic. 11 consecutive points. And that is such a rarity.
13-15.
It's a tough watch from the team bench. There it is. There's that serve we were highlighting with the Hawkeye animation previously. The contact point about 4.5 meters wide of the single sideline. Tough to get any meaningful contact on the return.
Game. Team France. Team France lead 4 games to love. Let's for service. Love.
And now he's even taking the first serve turn on the rise and coming in.
What level do you think his confidence would be at right now, Mark? Would it be up around 9.8?
Yeah.
Out of 10?
When you're stepping in and rushing the first serve, I'd say yes.
The fact that you didn't give a round number there, Fitzy. You're well dialed into the Dave Portnoy scale.
Some of us rarely got Some of us rarely got above 5, Robbie, you know, in the confidence
Yeah,
factor.
I know.
Unlike that big guy next to you, he could play a bit.
Just a bit.
I'd feel very disrespected if someone rushed my first serve like that.
Well, they might get a hole in the chest if they tried to do it. I think he's pretty much out of ideas, isn't he? You feel for him, Federico, because he's a good player, but these conditions just don't suit him, and he's up against a horrible matchup for him here.
But that's the thing, Fitz. He's a good player. So it's almost like he's playing on hard court, and he's kind of like, okay, this is not my surface. It's fine. You would imagine, you know, trying something different, maybe. Because let's face it, he hasn't really changed anything even from the very first point. He's playing the same way.
This guy's been a quarterfinalist at tour level on 3 occasions at Buenos Aires, Rio, and in Lyon, all on the clay. And of course, the semi-finals that he made at Marrakesh account for most of his points. There's no secrets on which surface those points have been accumulated on.
That's the thing, Robbie. You know, you get to the clay court season, there's a lot of pressure, a lot of points to defend.
Even the crowd feels for him.
That's the last thing this poor guy needed.
That's unfair. The luck as well. Eh? Robbie, if that one had gone over, I may not have referred to him as a poor man's Johnny Mac anymore.
Exactly.
Yes.
Almost dug it out. Angled the racket head beautifully, just not good enough contact.
Advantage, Team Argentina.
Guys, the previous point that I was actually watching Mannarino and his footwork, and the incredible thing is when he was hitting those low forehands, because he hits the ball so flat, he was bending down very low in order to be at that range to hit the ball flat, like instead of getting under it like you normally would do. So incredibly well balanced every time he hits his forehand or his backhand. Never looks rushed.
Advantage Team France.
The only time I've seen him rush tonight is actually when he had to run to the bathroom before he stepped on the court for the match. Oh. No
Kidding me?
Oh my goodness.
It's going to be a long time before you see something like that again.
Creativity. Thy name is Adrian Mannarino.
Game, Team France.
The feel from both. We all think it's done here.
France lead 5 games to love.
And then a mic drop moment.
I mean, can I just say I felt that coming as well? It doesn't surprise me. I mean, talk about throwing some salt on the wound. I mean, my goodness.
It's good to be alive. See something like that.
It does not get better than that, and they know it. Oh, man.
Gosh.
You know, if we show highlights for this whole summer, surely there won't be anything better than that.
Oh, he should have just kept on running out of the exit back to the hotel room. Done.
Save a thought for the opposition.
Oh, I mean, you know, show the different angles on both benches right now. Oh.
I'll tell you what, that is out of this world.
Coria just looking at the thing go by and then looking at his box and going, okay, guys.
You know, Mark, I thought he'd made a mistake with that drop shot. He could have finished the point, I thought, before, but
Time.
I'm sure Federico was wishing he had have finished it with the previous shot. Gee whiz, staggering.
That was one of the best points I've ever seen. I tell you what, guys, I'm putting my rackets in tomorrow at 10 kilos. I'm getting them strong.
Oh, tap some of that Mannarino talent. Set and 5 love, serving for the match.
Fifteen love.
Well, that's just knocked the life out of Federico Coria. And we're very close to the last rights now. It's been a masterclass, a Mannarino masterclass.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure to watch Mannarino play like this in this kind of tennis, but I'm really feeling for Coria.
Three match points.
You know, if there was ever a match where on a hard court where he goes back to his coach and says, okay, we've got to do something, you know, make some kind of changes. I don't know, what do I do? Do I be more aggressive? Do I play a little more out of my comfort zone? Something. I mean, I know that Mannarino is playing some special tennis tonight, but
Game, set match, Team France.
Oh, he was simply outstanding. Mannarino dug into his manual of masterpieces this evening and put on a performance that was jaw-dropping at times. Dominated Federico Coria. He got the job done in just over an hour, 62 minutes to beat him 6-1, 6-love. Team France with a 4-love lead now, and just adding to their tally in the most spectacular fashion. You can understand why there are smiles all around. Elisa Cornet got them off to the perfect start yesterday evening, remember, against Maria Carle. She won that encounter pretty comfortably. Then it was Arthur Rinderknecht beating Francisco Cerundolo in straights. And now John Fitzgerald is going to have a chat with Adrian.
Adrian, there was a lot of things I wanted to ask you, but it's all been overshadowed, I think, by that one point at the end. That was one of the most amazing things we've seen on a tennis court, I think.
Well, honestly, I got lucky on that one. I can't say anything else. I was able to run well. So that's the first thing, and then it was just a question of luck. And you know, I was in a good day. I was feeling well on the court. So.
When you were a little boy, did you always play this way? When you learnt tennis as a young boy, did you always play with loose strings in your racket? Did you always play with shorter backswings, or did that evolve over the time?
Well, the tension of my racket is getting lower every year, but I feel I'm getting weaker with the age too. So, and then about my swing, it's always been short like that, and you know, I grew up on fast court, and this is how it gets.
Well, as a lover of tennis and someone who admires the different skills that this sport brings to the table, you for me are someone who brings a smile to the face, because you play differently to everyone else, and you play a very unique way. It's so entertaining to watch. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Thank you. What did your teammates say when you came back to the box there after you hit that one between the legs? What were they saying to you?
Well, honestly, I was still concentrated. I was not really paying attention to what they were saying. Obviously, they were quite excited, but you know, I was trying to stay focused and finish the match.
Well, you had a big smile on your face. You must have had good thoughts. Out of 10, out of a score of 10 tonight, what do you give yourself?
Well,
you give yourself 9 or 9.5?
Well, it's a good 8, almost 9.
A good 8?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to see 10 because...
hopefully I'll get it.
Well, you made the 4th round of the Australian Open last year. You were close. Haven't been to a quarterfinal yet, but on that form, you can do this.
Well, I hope you're going to bring me some luck, and we'll see. I'll try my best, and we'll see. I'll have some fun for sure. Thanks for coming out tonight, guys. It was quite fun.
Adrian, thank you. You're a very modest man. Thank you, and good luck this summer.
Très bien, merci, Adrian Mannarino. Was very easy on the eye flip, wasn't it?
That was just like watching a musician tonight, magician, not a musician as well. I mean, it was just beautiful to watch. As Fitzy said, I love watching him play. He's a very unique player. The way he takes the ball on the rise, he makes it look very easy. But my goodness, was he relaxed and just seeing the ball well.
What's the feeling after you've played a match like that? Just describe the buzz that you have.
Look, when you have matches where kind of everything's just going along and you just switched on from the first point, you savor it. Yep. You know, you savor it. It doesn't happen every night, and then you go back to work tomorrow.
And those numbers are worth salivating over if you're an Adrian Mannarino fan. He excelled in every department. The forays forward were good. The serve was highly effective. And Tricolo flying high this evening. Just the mixed doubles to come. They will be on court in about 10 minutes or so, but this evening it belongs to Adrian Mannarino, who showcased his skill set in the best possible manner. The straight sets win for Team France.